Welcome to the Mindset Mentor podcast. If you want to hear more about us, look on www.mindsetmentor.co.uk. Today, I had an interesting thing on the way back from the gym. It made me think about the sense of purpose. It's one of them things you see a lot about, and everyone thinks, well, what is it that gives me purpose? Where do I get my purpose from? And what I saw was, right near my house, there's a playing field, and there's this, I'm going to say old guy, because he's retired. He is an older guy. I'd say he's in his 70s. And I've watched him get his sense of purpose. At first, I never got it. And what he does is he makes that pitch, he mows it, he picks it, he works on it, he digs on it, he does endless work. And for a while, I thought, why would you do that? And it's only in the last few years I've started to understand why. And it's about purpose. Because I went past before, and it was this huge hedge. It's the whole side of a football pitch, and he's trimming it. And I was like, that's a massive job. But to him, is it a job or is it a sense of purpose? And then you have to start thinking about, what's your own sense of purpose? His is helping out at a football club. I don't even know if his kids play or his grandkids play for the team, and that's why he's got involved. But every day he goes there. Someone else, it might be an allotment. Someone else, it's work. I've got another friend, he has a fantasy football thing, and I saw him the other day. Football's not on, so he's not doing that. And every weekend, while you think it's a hard slog job, it's actually purpose. And sometimes we don't quite know where that purpose is going to come from, but it enlightens us. It gives us light. It also is what it's like a mindfulnessness, because when we're doing our purpose, we're not thinking about our other things in life. Like, I was on the way back from one of my purposes. They can be external things, like it could be volunteering, it could be being a grandma, it could be your work, it could be your own kids, it could be a football team being a manager. But one of the other purposes I think is really important is making you the purpose. What's your purpose on you? Just you. What are you doing back to you to feed the soul and the mind and the body so you're the best of who you can be? What are them? Mine yesterday was equally that I'd planned to do this big day. I got all these things and I just didn't have it. Didn't have it in my locker. Sometimes you just not got it. And instead of beating myself up, which I've always been good at, I just thought, tomorrow I go into this with more of a battle, more of a wanting to win, more making it happen. So we're now halfway through that tomorrow, and I have pretty much, I've had an awesome morning. I've let myself down for an hour, but that's all right. That's all right. I'm only getting this one go, and that's it. That's my go, and I'm going to, one thing is make your purpose being all right to yourself, being cool. Not being all right to yourself when you're achieving nothing all the time because you're having no drive in your life, but being all right when you just slip off it. You said the wrong thing. You weren't as funny. You weren't as motivated. You weren't the usual good friend that you are. You didn't give it as much at the gym. Just sometimes you have to settle the purposes. For me, my purpose is to inspire me, because unless I'm inspired, what will I achieve? What will I ever do? And that leads on to another thing. It's like not purpose, but so I was meeting some friends last night, and then we got talking about. We didn't get talking. The two guys I was with, who were like 65 plus, massive guys, they were at the point when they went to the toilet, came back, they were out of breath, they drank too much, they have a solitary life. And then they started slagging off Southgate, the England manager. They were started saying, he's best, he's gone, he's useless for football, he's defensive, he's terrible, he doesn't know what he's doing, he's safe, he hasn't got a clue. That kind of annoyed me. And I'll say why, because what they weren't doing is it's easy to stand on the lines and criticise everything that goes on. It happens with bosses and leaders in general. But I said, how can you feel like this when this manager got us into 2 European finals and 1 World Cup semi-final in the reign of him being the manager? And in my lifetime, we've only ever been in 1 semi-final before. We've talked up a good game and never actually got anywhere. These guys got irate with it. We're like, he hasn't got a clue. He doesn't know. He's ruined English football. And it's like that perspective of how you look at things, when really what I'm thinking is, what a guy, what a dude. When everyone else was hounding him for being a weaker, I think I've mentioned this in an earlier podcast, so you may have heard this. When he was hounded, he still stood tall. When everyone told him he was a fool, he still made the same decisions. Because it's like everything that comes down to you, your own life. You can look back at the decisions you've made, because we've all made loads of terrible ones. And like, it's often the worst ones are the biggest ones, and you could have just changed it. And the amount of energy and time you look at going back into a decision and changing it is wasting your current state of affairs. And it just made me think, Southgate to me has been a legend, and he's proven to me that you can achieve things. you stick to your own, you believe in yourself, and you keep going with what you set out to do. And that's what I got from that. But everyone gets a different thing from it. Everyone gets a different perspective from everything you do. And you just remember yours isn't always the right one. And this is saying this to me as well. Yours isn't always the right one. And just sometimes to stand outside and look in a scenario for a bit, even if you've already made your mind up, think about it again. Because often what you've got to imagine is we're not perfect. I certainly am not perfect. And sometimes your thought process isn't perfect. And sometimes it's someone else to say, have you thought of it like this? This, as a coach, that's what my job is. People say what it is that's holding them back, or they want to change, or want to make these things. And I say, I just like answer something about how they're looking at it to see it from a different perspective. And they always say, well, when you put it like that, it seems a lot easier. And I always find that's one of the beauty of my work. So this leading on to another thing, actually. And so another friend a few days before, and this makes me think, don't wait until it's too late. You know, in anything that you're doing. This one's a health thing, and I'll finish on it that. But don't let that job that you don't want to do, but you want a new one, but you're too scared to do it. Don't get that person you'd like to be in a relationship, but you're too scared that they're going to say no. Don't not go on that adventure because you're too scared of other things around it, what you'll be like on it. If you'll be scared, can you handle it? This is in my friend. I saw my friend the other day, and I said, how are you getting on? He goes, I've retired. I went, no way, well done. And he goes, 2 days after it, I found out he had cancer, and he's got a esophagus. I've said that wrong, but I think you know what it is. And he's always drank a lot and smoked a lot, not ate well, not done any exercise. And he told me he knows what he's going to do. He's going to start drinking less, stop smoking, exercising, and doing these things. And he's doing them all now. And it's sometimes that, you know, hopefully it's not too late, because he's going to be doing the treatment, and we're going to be positive message, and he's going to do this one. But some things lead to it. You know, like I meet it all the time with people who've smoked for ages, and then they finally give up, and then they just get, like my dad did it, another friend of mine, and it's done then, but all the problems that come. And that might be how you are in a relationship that's needed to end, or with a friend or whatnot. It's like, don't wait too late for things, because sometimes it does have a shelf life and it won't work anymore. Doesn't mean you can't change anything, because the other message would be anything can change at any moment. But there's certain things, like when it comes to health, and another one is, a lot of the people that I work with, one of the questions I ask is, if they're in a relationship, give me your relationship out of 10, what are you? And they'll go, what do you mean? I'll go, just give me a number. And when you think about it, it's because I nicked this off someone else called Sue Hugginson, she once put this question to me in a relationship with ours. What are you out of 10? And if you're anything less than 7, it's not good enough, because your job in a relationship is to inspire each other, to have fun with each other, and make each other's lives good, and make your own life good, and make their life good. We do it, it's like between us, and sometimes it's too late. The damage has been done. Most of the time it's not, you know, there's sometimes it's very minimal. And often I'll go, you're telling me you're a 5, next time we speak in 2 weeks, you better tell me you're a 7 or an 8, and what you've done to do it. Because why you're a 5 is because of all the reasons you told me why you're here, but what you're doing to make it better, what you're going to change. And it does involve a little bit of change. Change is the greatest thing, and you can do it any time. And the good thing about change is, if you change and whatever you do, it doesn't work, change back to what worked better, or make another change. So the other thing is, you're not a prisoner. You're not a prisoner to your change. You're not like what I said about decisions. You're not a prisoner to the decisions you've made. You're not a prisoner to the changes you make. At any point, you can change them back or moving around. But it's in the art of the energy of doing something, creating a spark of something that makes a difference in your life and the people that are impacted in your life. And I always recommend that. And it's, you know, it comes down to that simple thing of the smile. I smile to everyone that I see outside, because that might make a big difference in their life. And them seeing me made a big difference. I'll finish on this because we're at the end. So if you want to add any points, if you go to www.mindsetmentor.co.uk, you can, it has a little thing about to get in touch if you have any questions about what I say, or if you've got any particular things you want me to talk about. But I'll finish on this point. And it's about law of attraction, about you magnate what's in your life. And this is just a silly little one. One day I decided that I was feeling a bit lonely and I was lacking a bit of love. And I thought, I'm going to go on my dog walk, and I'm going to love every dog on my dog walk, because they give you unrelentless love. I go out on my dog walk because I'd said that's what I want and put the energy out there. Dogs were coming up to me and loving me. So if you're missing a bit of that, think about what you're going to get back and be magnetic. I'm going to finish now because it'll be end of my 10 minutes and there's no edits and this is it. I've loved speaking to you. Thanks for listening.